In this video, I'm going to be rating every Sims 3 expansion. So let's get into it. Going in the order that these expansions were released, World Adventures was the first expansion for Sims 3. And you know what? I really hated this pack when I first bought it, but it's really growing on me the more I play it. I feel like they did a really good job with these vacation destinations, and I like how they're all based in real countries. There's hidden tombs for you to explore with booby traps, hidden treasure, and secret passageways. It almost feels like you're playing an Indiana Jones game or something. When my sim went to France, they discovered an entire underground maze that had treasure everywhere. These things are a lot of fun to explore around, and it really changes up the core gameplay that you're used to in The Sims. Another really cool feature in this pack is nectar making, which basically lets your sims make wine. And you can't just buy this in buy mode either. Your sim actually has to visit France and buy the nectar maker straight from the source, which is a touch that I really like. There's also a nectar making skill that gives you a lot of cool different options and functionality when it comes to producing your own nectar at home. And even though your sims are supposed to be on vacation, there's actually a lot of really cool things they can do to stay busy. The main thing here is the adventures though, and they usually lead you to a really cool underground or a hidden area. Some other really cool functionality with this pack, I love how the tourists from the vacation worlds can actually come to visit when your sim gets home. I also think it's really cool how they added the mummy with this pack, but it's just so rare that I almost never see it. Apparently World Adventures also came with its own world, being Adventureland. It's really not bad at all, especially when you consider that it's the first ever Sims 3 expansion. All in all, World Adventures is a pretty solid pack, but only if you like this vacation gameplay. It reminds me a lot of Sims 2 Bon Voyage, but when I think back to those generic tourist attractions, it's safe to say that World Adventures is a lot better. For me though, it's definitely not a must-have, and I'd only pick this up if you can get it on sale or if you really like the gameplay that comes with this pack. Moving on to Ambitions, this is the second expansion to release for Sims 3. Not only does it add some great active careers to the game, but it also comes with some new skills and some pretty cool gameplay objects as well. The playable careers are the main highlight of this expansion, and they're a lot of fun to mess around with, especially if you have a kleptomaniac. The Ghost Hunter and the Investigator are two of my personal favorites. Plus, this pack just happened to come with washing machines and laundromats, just tucked in on the side. The Sims team was on one when they made this pack. Sims 4 is rolling in its grave right now, I swear. The new skills included with Ambitions are tattooing, sculpting, and the inventing skill that lets your Sims build fucking bombs. One of my favorite occults in Sims 3 was also added in with this pack, being the Simbot. It's pretty cool how you can just buy this if you have enough lifetime reward points. Not only does the pack come with all of these features, but it also adds the new world, Twinbrook. I've avoided this world for so long, but once I actually jumped into it, I realized that I like it a lot. It gives off that small town vibe, and it just feels like such a cozy little town. Ambitions is a pack that I really used to think very highly of. If you asked me back then, I probably would have had it in my top 5. But my thoughts have changed after playing Sims 3 some more. Don't get me wrong, the professions are really nice to have, but they're not so good that you're gonna play them all the time. Even the washers and the dryers that were included in this pack are things that I rarely use in my gameplays. For that reason, I'd say get this pack only if it's on sale. Moving on to Late Night, I'm just gonna go out and say it, this pack is a must-have. This expansion added city life to your game with things like skyscrapers, apartments, celebrities, and so much more. The celebrity system is a lot of fun to mess around with, and it's really nice to get free stuff all the time just for being famous. I have a lot of mixed feelings about the neighborhood that came with this pack, which is Bridgeport. It does a really good job of giving off that late night city vibe, and it's a lot of fun to visit the lounges and see if your sim can even get past security. I also love how they added the subway as a fast travel system. This is really useful on bigger community worlds where it takes a really long time to get around the map. This pack also added in the mixology skill and the mixologist NPC, so whenever your sim visits one of the bars included in Late Night, they can actually order drinks and food. Without this expansion, the bars in the game are so depressing. Your sims have to serve themselves and they can't even make a specific drink. It's just like water. With Late Night, certain drinks can change your sim's traits, such as the big mistake that turns your sim into an insane party animal daredevil for a few hours. You can also build your own bar lots from scratch, and as long as you use one of the new bars that were included in Late Night, it'll automatically assign a mixologist to come serve food and drinks at that lot. This is really cool, and even if you don't like using the bars that were included with this pack, You can just build your own and you'll still have NPC mixologists. Late Night is one of the first Sims 3 expansions that I ever bought, and to this day it's still one of my favorites. Honestly, I consider this a must-have, especially if you like playing around with the young adults in that city atmosphere. This is definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. Moving on to Generations. This is one of the most popular expansions in the entire Sims franchise just because of how high quality and feature packed it is. Generations adds something for every stage of life, although most of it is for kids and teenagers. There are a ton of new rabbit holes for kids and teens, such as prom, boarding school, field trips, after school activities, and the awesome treehouse. I also really love how this pack lets you teach Sims how to drive. There's also a new playable career, being the daycare, which your Sim can use to babysit from the house. I still haven't even tried this yet, but it sounds like a lot of fun. Plus, there are also a lot of really nice build buy items included with Generations, such as the bunk beds, the treehouse, and the sandbox. Overall, I feel like raising kids in Sims 4 is really more annoying and it feels like a chore more than anything else. But in Sims 3, I always lean towards family gameplay, and a lot of that is thanks to Generations. Generations is a must-have. Now onto pets. Pets is actually a really solid pack to own, even if you don't like having them in your household. That's because this pack actually also came with wild animals such as raccoons, chipmunks, deer, fucking shrews, squirrels, I mean, you name it. So if your Sim doesn't have any pets in the household, you're still gonna be seeing some animals pretty frequently throughout your game. I love being able to look outside and see squirrels and chipmunks, running around. It just makes the world feel so much more alive and immersive. Plus, they also added in a bunch of different small pets with this pack, such as snakes and turtles. So if you don't want to take on a whole cat or a dog pissing on the ground all the time, you can just get one of these low maintenance pets. They're just a lot more easy to deal with. Plus, this is actually the only Sims game where you can control your pets, although the functionality is pretty limited. I mostly use this to make sure my Sims are peeing outside and not on the living room floor. This pack also came with the World Appaloosa Plains, which I'm not really a big fan of. The landscaping itself is really beautiful and I love how they laid out the town, but for me the community lots are the main thing that turn me off. Overall, even though this pack is far from a must-have, pets, I would still consider it to be a great all-around pack. I wouldn't tell any of you to go and get this right away unless you really want pets in your game. But if you're looking for a good filler pack later on, once you already have all your must-haves, then this is definitely a pretty solid one. If you're patient enough to wait for a sale, pets is going to be well worth it. Next is Showtime. Showtime is just one of those expansions that has so much potential. I like the idea of the pack. I really do. I just feel like it was poorly implemented. The 3 new professions added with this pack all feel the same because you're using the same venues and most of the time you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Despite the gameplay not being too good, pack did add a lot of really cool gameplay objects such as the karaoke machine and the mechanical bull. Showtime also came with the new neighborhood being Starlight Shores, which is basically the Sims version of Hollywood. I really like the aesthetic of the world, but once you start to actually play it, there's really not a lot of variety in the community lots. All in all though, I really do love the Hollywood aesthetic, and if you don't mind taking the time to edit the world and add in the community lots that are missing, this could be a really solid world to play in. They also added in the social butterfly and the diva traits with this expansion, which have been a lot of fun to play around with. The diva one in particular can lead to some really sassy Sims, and it's just a lot of fun to watch play out. Me personally, I haven't touched the playable careers in this pack for such a long time, probably since I bought the pack, honestly. I pretty much only use Showtime for the awesome recreation items that were added in, such as the dominoes table. Even though I don't use the playable careers, I still use the venues a lot. There's pretty much always a performance going on around town, and it's cool to have my Sims go and watch, even if I don't want to play through the careers myself. Overall though, when you compare Showtime to all the other expansions for Sims 3, such as Generations and Late Night, this one just doesn't stack up. For that reason, I'm gonna tell you to wait for a sale. Supernatural. Supernatural is a type of pack that I told myself I'd love, but I've still barely played it. For some reason, I just cannot stop myself from playing human Sims, you guys. I have a real problem. But if you can break out of that mindset of only playing human Sims, then this pack can be a lot of fun. Obviously, the highlight of this pack is going to be all the different occults that come with it, and probably my favorite in this expansion is going to be the fairy, just because of all the different skill bonuses that they have. Coming from Sims 4, it's honestly surprising how many occults they threw together in this little $20 expansion. Sims 4 is rolling in its grave right now. Look at all this DLC I own for Sims 4, and I only have 2 occults available. Bonehilda is one of my favorite additions in this expansion. Even if you guys do not use any of the occults, you should definitely be using Bonehilda. She's basically like this skeleton maid who helps around the house. She's so useful, and for some reason she's really good at training dogs. As someone who doesn't really play with the occults too much, I still love Bonehilda, and it's a feature that I use a lot out of this expansion. Plus, I really love the furniture that they included with this pack. A lot of it really looks kind of like this old style, spooky haunted house type vibe. I like it a lot. What I don't like though is the world that came with this expansion. It's kind of depressing, and the community lots are terrible. I mean, they're just so ugly. I get it, they were probably going for like a spooky, depressing vibe, but I mean, this is just not the place that I want to play in. Overall, this pack does come with tons of gameplay if you're into the occults, but I'm the kind of player who sticks to human sims. Maybe every once in a while I'll call out Bonehilda, you know what I'm saying, but that's about it. Nonetheless, you're still going to be pretty much always interacting with the occults because the game is going to start to spawn them in once you get this pack. Supernatural is a great expansion overall, but if you guys like occult gameplay in The Sims, this pack is definitely going to be a must-have for you. Man, it's hard to believe Seasons was the 8th expansion to release for Sims 3. While at this point I'm really tired of Seasons expansions in Sims games, I feel like they did a great job with Seasons in Sims 3. First off, the weather itself is super immersive, especially during a heavy blizzard or a thunderstorm. The sound effects are on point. Each season also comes with its own new gameplay, like getting a tan in the summer, raking leaves in the fall, and building an igloo in the winter. Yes, you can even woohoo in the igloo, in case you guys were wondering. Each season also comes with its own holiday, like for winter you have Winterfest and Spooky Day in the fall. I also really love the festivals that came with seasons. Each season has its own themed festival with different activities for your Sims to enjoy. Like in the spring they have kissing booths, and if you go in the fall, your Sims can walk through a haunted house. These festivals are my go-to for when my Sims are out on the town, and the really cool thing about these is that most of the worlds in Sims 3 actually have their own unique festival grounds built in. And if you're playing a world that doesn't have a festival grounds in it, you can just go to Edit Town and add one in yourself. There are also a bunch of other really cool smaller features such as sickness. Your Sims can get sick going into flu season, and they can also prepare by getting a new vaccine. There's also the common cold, and Sims can get allergies whenever the season changes. But don't worry, because now your Sims can call in sick to work. Or if they just want to get the day off, they can fake it as well. Overall, even though I really hate Seasons expansions in Sims games at this point, I definitely consider Sims 3 a must-have, thanks to the way that they implemented the weather, the holidays, and the festivals. When I think about Sims 4 and the fact that seasons and festivals came in 2 separate expansions, that makes this pack feel that much better. Seasons for me is definitely a must-have, and if you can get this on sale for $10, that is an absolute steal. Sims 3 University is my favorite university pack in the entire Sims series. I've said it before, but the open world really takes this pack to the next level. And it's just so satisfying to watch your sim as they go from class to the library to the dorm. It's just all so seamless, and there's never any loading screens involved. Also, out of Sims 2, 3, and 4, Sims 3 definitely has my favorite dorm gameplay. We have some really cool new traits here like avant-garde, irresistible, and socially awkward. Irresistible and socially awkward are 2 traits that I use all the time in my gameplay, and honestly I didn't even know they came with university life until I looked it up. University life also came with the social networking skill, which I use from time to time, and it's a pretty cool skill overall. It also has functionality with other mods, such as the live streaming mod by Twin Simming. If you guys like building, it can be a lot of fun to rebuild the university lots as well, especially the dorms, because sometimes they can feel a little bit outdated. This pack also added in social groups, which are kind of annoying, but they can be used to unlock some really nice rewards, such as hidden careers and extra traits for your Sims. I don't consider University Life a bad expansion at all, but it's just one of those packs that I don't play too often. I just never really get that burning desire like, oh, I want to play University Life today. You know what I'm saying? For those reasons, I'm gonna throw this pack in wait for sale. Overall though, it's still an awesome pack, and it's far ahead of what we got in Sims 4 and even I'd say Sims 2. In that aspect, University Life is amazing, but when you compare it to all the other amazing Sims 3 expansions, this one can wait. I feel like Island Paradise catches a lot of criticism, but it's actually a really decent pack. Don't get me wrong, the world Isla Paradiso that comes with this pack is extremely laggy, mostly because of those damn houseboats. But even though the world itself causes a lot of problems, most of the features and the actual gameplay in this pack can transfer over to any save. The resorts are one of my favorite features out of this pack, and I had a lot of fun building one from scratch. You can upgrade your rooms, build a buffet, and so much more to make sure that your guests are having a great time. And once you get a good hotel running, you can actually make some pretty good passive income for your Sims. Plus, if you don't want to own your own resort, you can always just place one down as a community lot so your Sims can go and visit it. I also really like all the new water related items that they added in with this pack, such as the boats, the jet skis, there's sharks, a fucking kraken.
Release the Kraken!
Scuba diving and snorkeling are some really cool features that were also added in with this pack, and apparently Sims can also woohoo in the underwater caves. This pack also gave us the mermaid, and it introduced the lifeguard playable career. Even though the world that comes with Island Paradise is a terrible buggy mess, almost all the features from this expansion can be carried over into other worlds, which is part of the reason that I'm going to be ranking this pack so high. I really enjoy the content that comes with Island Paradise, and it does a lot to bring that island vibe to the game. Still though, I wouldn't consider this pack a must-have unless you have seasons and you really like island gameplay. And finally, it's Into the Future. I'm really struggling to figure out what exactly they were doing when they made Into the Future. Like, it doesn't even feel like I'm playing The Sims when I'm playing this. I do like some of the build buy items in this pack, but that doesn't excuse the terrible gameplay. The world that comes with this pack is absolutely horrendous, and it feels like there's just nothing for my Sims to do. Like, I was just so bored trying to play through this world. One thing they did add in with this pack is the Plumbot, which is basically an upgraded version of the Simbot. These are robots that you can customize with trait chips, so you can basically build them exactly how you want. Like I said earlier, this pack does have some pretty cool build buy items, but beyond that, I wouldn't really recommend this pack to anybody at all. There we have it, you guys. This is my rating for every Sims 3 expansion. This game had a ton of banger expansions released, and I'd say most of them are actually worth buying. If you're a new player or just looking to buy another pack, hopefully this list can help you out. Don't forget to let me know what your favorite Sims 3 expansion is down in the comments. And that's it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.